The porcelain cup clipped the edge of the table, splashing hot coffee down my shirt. The sting on my skin was sharp, but not as sharp as the smug grin across from me. Michael, my wife's former husband, sat there in a tailored suit that probably cost more than my month's rent, leaning back as though he owned the room. "You don't belong here," he said with a sneer. My fist tightened, but I kept my voice calm. Throwing coffee at me had been his mistake. He chuckled, a hollow laugh polished by boardrooms and cocktail parties. My wife leaned close and murmured softly, "Don't worry, it's worth it." Minutes later, his phone buzzed. He answered with his usual arrogance, but I watched the color drain from his face. His lips trembled. He had just been fired. Then another notification flashed across the screen. A picture of him with his mistress, time-stamped, location tagged, undeniable. His mask cracked. Before me, Michael had been her world. Their marriage was built on appearances, wealth, influence, the endless chase for status. On the outside, enviable, beneath, poisonous. She left him not for me, but for peace. With me, she chose stability over show, quiet nights over glittering emptiness. Still, his shadow lingered. He called under the excuse of family matters. He appeared uninvited at gatherings. He wore his success like armor, daring me to challenge him. I tolerated it, for her sake. I told myself this was the price of marrying someone with a past. But men like Michael never let go. They taunt, they cling, they provoke. And that spilled coffee was his declaration of war. A month earlier, I'd stumbled across the first crack. A voicemail left on my wife's phone. His voice, slurred with whiskey, was desperate, not for love, but for leverage. "Don't forget what I know. Don't forget who I am." It wasn't jealousy I felt. It was something darker. He wasn't clinging. He was threatening. He still believed she belonged to him, that we lived beneath his shadow. That night, watching her sleep beside me, I made a promise. No shouting matches, no heated confrontations. I would dismantle him piece by piece. I became a ghost in his life. First, I traced his financial habits. Men like him believed themselves untouchable, blind to quiet observers. I noted his late nights, his dinners with associates, the calls he made from parking lots. Then came his allies, an overworked doorman eager to talk, a secretary with grudges, a client who hinted at irregularities. Each one gave me threads. Next, I gathered proof. Forwarded emails, copied slips, records that revealed a pattern. Embezzlement masked as bonuses, indulgences disguised as company expenses. And finally, his mistress, young, careless, and convinced she was hidden. Her social media betrayed him. Photos, locations, evidence he couldn't deny. Within 2 weeks, I had a case too solid to question. I arranged it neatly, logically, the way a banker would. Step 1. Forward the documents to his firm's compliance team. No accusations, just numbers that refuse to align. Step 2. An anonymous package to a journalist who wouldn't ignore evidence this clean. Step 3. Set up a family dinner, an event he would see as another stage to flaunt his superiority. Step 4. Wait. Not accuse, not confront, just wait. And Step 5. Make sure the collapse happened with me watching. The restaurant smelled of wine and roasted meat. He sat across from me, swirling his glass like a king on his throne. Then he spilled the coffee, his show of dominance, his fatal mistake. Minutes later, the phone call came, his termination, assets frozen, an investigation underway. His voice cracked as he tried to process it. Then came the second buzz, the photo of him with the model. His composure vanished. I leaned forward, my voice calm, deliberate. "You thought you owned her. You thought you owned everything. Turns out you own nothing, not even your secrets." The grin was gone. Silence took its place. He stood, suit wrinkled, pride shattered, and walked out without a word. My wife and I sat in quiet stillness. She reached across the table and took my hand. There were no cheers, no tears, only finality. That night, I burned the rest of the evidence. I didn't need it anymore. His own arrogance would finish the job. Revenge isn't loud. It isn't chaos. It's precise, calculated, merciless. People believe betrayal destroys love. It doesn't. It destroys respect. And when respect dies, vengeance is just a funeral that follows. As I stepped out into night air, I carried no guilt, only clarity. Some men confuse cruelty with strength, and the only cure for that delusion is consequence.